Welcome back to the Winter Championships. We're going to jump into game number 2 here between MVP DRG and QxGNaniwa. I'm DJ Wheat.
I'm Day 9, and you might have seen that look of surprise on my face because in the middle of that break, that's when we normally get the next game set up. And the next map was Shakura's Plateau, a very common map for Protosses to choose because they do that nice early wall off. And Naniwa said, wait, this isn't the map I chose. I chose dual site. Now, I've heard arguments from both sides. Zerg like it because a lot of counterattack paths. Protosses like the fact that it's a short, basic attack path, but getting a third as a Protoss can be a real nightmare. And Naniwa is really surprising everyone by choosing this map, honestly beating the Zerg player to the punch.
And Naniwa definitely contemplating his game here. Looks like both players are ready, and the countdown has begun. I won't lie, Sean, it looks like we've got a nervous Naniwa in the booth. I mean, he is really, really thinking about these games. I wonder if that means that if he doesn't have something very, very specific geared up for this particular matchup.
Well, Naniwa, the man who says fast forge expand or die trying, has chosen the most difficult map to early expand on in the entire map pool. And it's time to get this next game started. In the left position from Team MVP, it is DongRaeGu.
And he is down one map and trying to tie this up, bring it in his favor. It is the blue Protoss. Give it up for QxGNaniwa.
I'm just shocked that Naniwa is selecting this map, and given the fact that he has not sent a probe out, it looks like we are going to see a pylon on the top of the ramp, and this is very typical play from Naniwa to say something like, you know what, I lost with that one gate play, but I'm stubborn. I'm not going to switch strategies. I'm just going to play that old strategy perfectly.
And we're going to see exactly what DRG is going to do here very, very soon. As you know, it begs the question: does he go for a for a hatch first on this map? I mean, with the probe moving out, how much effort is Naniwa going to put into trying to block this? And if he does, it's not really that great to take this third like it is on other maps, and maybe that is a part of what his strategy is. But as he peeks up here and sees that there is no pool, you might see him immediately just turn around and try to lay claim to that natural of DRG. Oh, or we can just, no, my bad.
Wow, looks like Gateway is going down for Naniwa. And, you know, I would not be surprised if Naniwa had practiced almost exclusively against non-hatch firsters. And that build on Antigua Shipyard, when he saw that his opponent had secured an early hatch, he may have thought to himself, well, I guess I'll try to play this one out. It didn't work well, and now he's back in game number 2. Look at this. A Forge instantly goes down from Naniwa. Oh, he had a plan, Marcus.
Yeah, I think so, and it is shown. I mean, it's seen by that drone. Looks like he's going to drop down here with this drone, just checking back and forth. He knows that the hatch is going to come next off of this, and here comes the drone for the hatch. Naniwa is there. He's got about 100 minerals now if he wants to drop that pylon. Oh, he moves away. Is he going to let the hatch get dropped, or what is his plan?
I am really confused right now. We see the, and it looks like Naniwa does manage to block again, but notice that Naniwa has forgotten a pylon. He is supply blocked. He cannot build. Zealot number 1, is this a blunder? Is this an intentional play? Either way, it is very confusing as to what Naniwa wants to follow this up with.
Yeah, I don't even know what to say. So we get the Cybernetics core go down, and right now it just feels like Naniwa is going to be a little bit behind in this. He really didn't do any sort of forward aggression with that. I'm not quite sure how it factors into the build overall, but here we have some Zerglings popping out here, and keep in mind that DRG saw everything inside that base, so he knows exactly what's going on, and he doesn't seem that confused.
I'm very perplexed as to what the goal was by Naniwa of that Forge opening. I think he may have misread the somewhat late pull from DRG, who was going very macro-oriented, and thought to himself, oh, well, he must have been taking a third base, and then went back for the, It looks like DRG does not see this probe. Oh my gosh, it looks like the probe is going to just walk right up into the main. There's a queen there to greet him, and Naniwa gets up into the main base.
Yeah, he does. He's going to check things out. He's just going to see the gas and the pool. Those lings did make their way back, and look at that, checking behind the mineral line just to make sure, because until this hatch actually finishes, your limit, or of course your vision is limited, and there's the creep spreads. He's going to be able to take out that probe, get rid of that. Second queen's going to pop inside the main, and the Nexus is down. Now, again, it's probably going to set DRG up for a very, very fast third as we see Naniwa croning out some more units, but that would be the one thing as Naniwa I'd be really, really worried about, because then you are just going to have a parade going, a Roach-Ling parade heading on over to your base.
Looks like DongRaeGu just sending those links forward. I think he's going to be in for a little bit of a nasty surprise once that Stalker ends up seeing him. Indeed, hello, Lings. The Stalker will chase them down, trying to do as much damage as he can, pick off as many of those Lings as he can. It looks like he's brought a lot down to the various colors of the rainbow. Unable to kill any of them off.
Yeah, so where does DRG go from here at this point? He's got his speed. He's thrown out an Evo chamber. Not really sure if he is going to throw down a faster third. He's just scouting with these Lings and being very diligent about it as well. In fact, he's going to slip through here. There's no sentries. He is going to go ahead and back off just a little bit. But there's nothing really inside the base for him to see. Just the 2 gateways to add to 3 total. And now the Nexus is complete.
And, I mean, DRG's playing this out very calmly, but you'll note that DRG has been unable to take a 3rd hatch. That's exactly what Naniwa was hoping to happen in game number 1. Instead, we saw DRG, who opened up hatch first, was able to easily get the drone count up that he needed, and now it looks like DRG is going for a completely different style altogether, a fast layer, 3 extractors. Now, the thing that I have seen DongRaeGu do somewhat often is go straight for some kind of infestation pit. Right. He's also getting his Roach Warren up, and with the 3 geysers, very common also to get Roach speed with Burrow.
And he's going to warp these Stalkers in over at the 3rd, or it's actually at the 4th, and actually he's going to warp in a nice little unit together. And this is kind of interesting. We're going to see the Lings meet up with the Zealots. Oh, and there's the Scout. Oh, the Lings go to the north side, and this could actually be a really, really nasty assault as we do have a couple of Spine Crawlers going up here, but the Roach Warren not yet complete, and the Lings have found the pylon.
And it looks like Naniwa is going for a sentryless push. Just advancing forward, trying to force Lings, trying to use that Zealot Stalker force to deal as much damage as possible. Now it looks like a couple sentries getting morphed in at the natural expansion. And what we may very well see out of Naniwa is just a flat, plain, good old-fashioned retreat. The Stalker's now pulling back. Those 5 Zealots in the center of the map, completely vulnerable, but also difficult to engage from those Lings.
Yeah, and they'll just sit right there, and they can for the time being, at least until these start to get up. And
it's
over on the other
drop.
side, we have drop play coming out here as Ventral Sax is coming up. Has he already finished speed yet? Does not look like he's finished Overlord speed yet, but it takes a little bit longer to get those Sax done, so he'll get those out likely as well. Or maybe he's just like, watch this, slow Overlord drops, first time ever.
DRG with the +2 melee attack that drops. I would not be surprised to see a Baneling Nest pop down at any time. The Morrow style of Zerg vs. Protoss. Couple of Lings continuing to try to poke. Actually, a good amount of Lings poking, revealing themselves. But once again, we see Naniwa in a little bit of an awkward crossroads. He has not very much tech developed. He's trying to get that hallucination up, but he's still staying even in food with DRG.
And we see one Overlord go down in the back of his opponent's base. 4 Stalkers doing their duty. A lot of Lings out here at the front. They can just consistently... Oh, trying to get a surround on the sentry. Force field's baited out. A few of those Lings do slip through, but several do go down, and nothing is lost over on Naniwa's side other than a little bit of energy. We now... Nope. Well, he's gonna be done with his drops well before his... Oh, there we go. Okay, halfway done. So actually, these are going to coincide quite good, Sean, and they're going to finish up right around the same time. He's going to have his drops done and his Overlord speed.
Oh, and there's the Baneling Nest. Now, for any of you who don't know what a critical upgrade is, that's when the tides turn in a steep way. For instance, +1 ground attack for Protoss means that you can kill Zerglings in 2 hits instead of 3. But the most critical upgrade we're about to see is +2 Banelings can kill a worker in 1 hit.
Yeah.
A single volley of dropped airborne Banelings will completely decimate the entire worker line of Naniwa.
And we do see Naniwa moving out just a little bit. Lings are going to retreat back as well. We have this hallucinated Phoenix coming over, and while we got a lull in the game, let's take a look at those poll results as we stand in game number 2. It looks like Naniwa down by 2%, DRG 51, Naniwa 49.
Naniwa is going to have to battle hard for that extra 2%, as now it looks like an uncharacteristic whip there by Naniwa as he misses that gateway number 6 on the warp in, and there's the Banelings. Marcus, I'm so scared.
Yeah, and he's going to be able to load up right here. He's going to head over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Overlords filled with Banelings.
Oh, and the Phoenix arrives a hair too late. Will it see those Overlords? Will it see them? Oh, it's going to have to be a really, really thin. Naniwa desperately needs to Chrono Boost out that blink play.
Yeah, he does, and we've got Lings and Roaches heading on over right now. During the same time, he can drop inside the main. He does have some good force fields to be able to deal with this army.
He sees it. He sees the Overlords loaded up with Banelings. How will he answer? Naniwa needs to ride out and meet those Overlords, get the perfect force fields. He does not yet have Blink. He is still a little bit too far away. How will Naniwa control this? He needs the force field immediately, and he misses it a little bit. There's the perfect force field that Naniwa needed. He's going to have to keep it alive for just 10 more seconds until that Blink finishes.
That was a lot of energy that went out there, though. He's not going to be able to duplicate that. Maybe only a couple of force fields there. A couple more do go down, and the Banelings start to drop.
And how will Naniwa control this? So far, so good. He's managed to keep most of his units alive. Some nice blinking and re-blinking, but the probes managed to take a big hit.
Yeah, lots do go down, but the Roaches are the real ones cleaning all this stuff up. As there's just a few stalkers left. Link starting to come in as well. The blink back. He's going to try to get another warp in of units and use this wall to his advantage. There's still one cannon up as well, and it looks like DRG is going to back off just a little bit before he goes back in yet again.
Oh, it looks like the Immortal coming out +2 is en route. Indeed, though, it looks like in the expansion count, DRG is only just now taking his third. DRG really needs to ramp up the pressure, do some serious permanent damage if he wants to hope to stay alive.
Well, we have a transition over to Mutas for DRG as well, which will make this already army of Naniwa who's locked into this base have to stay here even more, and he is trying to push this force back. But honestly, DRG looking with a very, very impressive force as he's trying to use those stalkers, blink forward, pick off whatever he can. Right now, I mean, DRG just looked like he's in commanding lead of this game. We've got some more Overlords meeting up here, and he's going to load up Lings inside and take it into the main base.
Oh, and it looks like Naniwa leaving the Stalkers there to try to pick off the Overlords, but he's going to run into a nasty surprise as Lings begin to unload into the main base. Phenomenal drop play, pulls back to the Zealots that are warping in for defense while trying to put pressure on at the natural expansion as well. More Zealots warp in. Naniwa controlling a little bit too well for the drop to do too much damage.
Yeah, he's going to stop this force at the back. He does take out a few pros. Meanwhile, the Lings inside still doing a ton of damage. Zealots finally getting warped in to clean this up. 14 were actually, wow. He did not lose a single worker between the initial Baneling drop and there. He lost 14 in that initial Baneling drop.
But the Mutalist coming in. Marcus, this is going to be the worst nightmare for Naniwa. He's going to need to do absolutely impeccable control with those Blink Stalkers to be able to stay alive. And now DRG reveals the Mutalist. Naniwa's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah, I mean, he could pull the probes, but even they will be suffering some huge damage as they are getting picked off a little by little. Is he going to blink forward yet? He's going to hold on to it. And, wow.
And it looks like DRG managing to escape by the skin of his teeth. Now Naniwa's at a real crossroads. Does he try to push out and try to deal damage to this third? Does he defend? When does he build up the army to attack? The Mutalist count is only going to grow.
We've got DRG going in for another attack. Mutalist south of the base. He's also got some Overlords there in case he wants to bring another Ling drop into there, which might be exactly what he's got planned. In fact, he's got Overlords all around his opponent's base just in case. Right now he has taken a third as well, and you'll notice he took the third north of his main, which I think is a really good idea. It can become a little bit tougher to defend that third to the east of the natural. And look at this, we got the Mutalist moving around now and trying to get into a position. Naniwa at this point, he is behind by about 20, almost 30 supply. Here we go, attack on the front.
There's the attack at the front. Some incredible force fields managed to keep him alive for now. There's the blink onto the low ground. And DongRaeGu manages to eliminate some units, but for the most part, it's a Zerg massacre. In the middle of the map, we see 6 Zealots now also walking back home to try to reinforce. 6 more Zealots spring in, and now's the time for Naniwa to strike.
Yeah, he really, really does. I mean, the Muta count has gone down quite a bit. We do have a bunch of, oh, here we go. Another force over here is being rebuilt over here with Banelings. These Zealots trying to move away. A couple more Mutas almost in danger there.
Speed Banelings, and he runs right into them. A total decimation of the Stalker count. DongRaeGu needed that hit to land exactly then and there. The Stalkers try to reinforce. The Immortals do virtually no damage. Useless units in this sort of engagement, and Naniwa now has only Stalkers against the Ling, Muta, Baneling force of DRG.
Yeah, I mean, he's trying to move himself into the back, and really try to take away from some of the surface area attack that DRG has, and he defends it. But I mean, now the units will just start flowing in. 6 Mutas coming, more Banelings on the way, 12 more Lings on the way. We're getting +2 carapace for DRG, and at this point, it just looks like there's no way he's going to be able to stop this inevitable door kick coming in from DRG.
I mean, there's no more sentries left. The Baneling hits, and that Mutaling attack saw to that. And now DRG is just poising himself on 3 bases on this map. Dual sighted, so many Protosses struggle to defend that natural expansion with, and here comes the moment of judgment. Can he be able to defend against this? The Baneling's rolling on in a nice hold position, and he rolls through and annihilates the entire Probe Force, and the Nexus falls as well.
Yeah, at this point, what do you do? I mean, there we get to blink forward, try to take out as many units, and there it is, GG!
A convincing win from DongRaeGu. I mean, with all my waffling that I was doing earlier on, it would have been closer, but no, DongRaeGu showing incredible form and goes over to wish Naniwa a good game and good luck in the next match.
Yep, DRG will take that one 2-0, and very impressive play. I mean, honestly, at no point was I really feeling like DRG was in a position where he might lose, could lose, and that means that you and Artosis are so smart. Look at you guys. Tasteless,
well,
man.
I mean, it's interesting to note that DongRaeGu really just looked like he outclassed Naniwa in both of those games. There was almost no pressure that Naniwa put on at any point. DongRaeGu constantly keeping Naniwa completely locked into his base. I mean, Artosis, Nick, tell us a little bit about the strength of DongRaeGu's play in that series.
You know, I think if we go back and look at this, first of all, it's not like Naniwa is out of the tournament now.
Oh, of course.
You know, so I think he wanted to bring out some builds that he can lose with, and obviously you don't want to lose any games ideally, but you know, something that if it doesn't work, you're still in the tournament, and then you could save some of your more solid builds for PvZ maybe later on in the tournament.
Could be. I mean, I liked his initiative, trying something he never tries. But DRG just once again showed how smart he is. You know, if you go for one of these fast expansion builds after your gateway and your core, you're going to rely a lot on sentries. So he just went right up to those Baneling drops, and that's one of the easy ways to get rid of a bunch of sentries. And as soon as those are gone, what are you going to do, walk out with Zealots? And
yeah, exactly. And you know, one thing I'm wondering is, are we going to see Naniwa do any more one-base builds? I don't think we will.
I think we will.
For PvZ, you think
so? Yeah.
I have a feeling we won't, but you know, I'm happy to eat my words if I'm wrong. What about you guys? DJ Wheat?
I mean,
love to eat my words. Love to.
Delicious.
All the time.
I will, of course, note that Naniwa, you know, at the last week's LAN, he was doing almost always Forge Expands.
Yeah.
And then he traveled from there to the hotel here and has only had 4 days to practice. I don't know if he had those one-base plays up his sleeve or whether he has just tried to change his entire matchup in those last 4 days, but I honestly would, like Tasteless said, not be surprised to see a lot more Forge Expands out of Naniwa.
All right, guys, so we are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, actually, first, let's take a look. We had an update to the Friday schedule mainstream. Of course, we've seen Marine King MC, DRG, Naniwa coming up next. Huck versus Violet, then Oz parting, Marine King, Sase, and Naniwa the Muslim for match 6. If there's any additional updates, we'll be sure to give you those. But an Evil Genius fan favorite, Huck, is going up against Empire Violet next here on the main stage at the MLG Winter Championship. I'm DJ Wheat.
I'm Day9, and don't go anywhere because it's time for a little bit of Tastosis Cast in Action. See you then.